Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video there is lots to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you the latest news now on Harry Kane, because there is huge developments on Harry Kane. Also going to be talking with you a bit more about Jadon Sancho. Also going to be giving you some more latest news on Pogba and that. So the first topic I am going to start with is Harry Kane. So I have been reading reports today from the mainstream media. This is stemming from the Daily Star. I also read it in Team Talk, and it did say our move for Harry Kane hinges on one thing, and that's if Harry Kane is to publicly declare that he wants to leave Tottenham in the summer. Now, there has been a lot of reports emerging out anyway saying that Harry Kane could be leaving Tottenham in the summer, but there's also been some other media outlets say that have been totally comparison, saying that Kane is set to stay at Tottenham in the summer. Now, I'm actually very sceptical about Harry Kane coming to Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think if he does leave Tottenham, he'll probably end up making a move to Real Madrid, could maybe even possibly go to Juventus, but I don't see him coming to Manchester United. Now, as you all know, Manchester United have been relentlessly linked with Harry Kane. Obviously, I think we've been in for him at least for the last 5 years. Obviously, Tottenham have quoted out how much they would want if they was to sell Harry Kane, and he would cost around £150 million. So that would make him the most expensive signing in the Premier League, and like the third most expensive player in the world. Now, obviously, Harry Kane is quite clearly unhappy at Tottenham. He has been at Tottenham for several years. He's been in their senior squad since 2011. And Harry Kane, of course, is 26 years of age, so he's still actually young, so he's in his prime. And he hasn't won out in terms of silverware during his time with Tottenham, so I think this is what also Harry Kane is infuriated about. And by the way, he is Tottenham's third highest top goal scorer in their history, behind Bobby Smith and Jimmy Greaves. So obviously, that's been confirmed, because Harry Kane has 181 goals in 278 appearances for Tottenham in all competitions, and has 130 odd goals in the Premier League. Now, don't forget, back in the summer of 2018, Harry Kane committed his long-term future with Tottenham by signing a 6-year deal. So he is under contract with them until 2024, and as it stands at the moment, he has still got 4 years remaining on his contract. And I do believe Harry Kane is on 200 grand a week at Tottenham, and if he was to come to Man United anyway, we'd probably be able to offer him at least 200 grand a week, maybe even more. So he'd probably be on similar wages to Marcus Rashford, because I think Rashford's on 200 odd grand a week, but include the bonuses, he's on £300,000 a week, is Marcus Rashford. Now, I do like Harry Kane a lot, to be quite honest with you. Obviously, he said he revealed that he wants to win some silverware. And obviously, Tottenham can't win any silverware this season, because they're no longer in the FA Cup. They're no longer in the Champions League. So they can't win out in terms of silverware. Obviously, Tottenham's ambitions is to get qualification for the Champions League. So obviously, Tottenham will either want to finish 4th or 5th, but I think it's very unlikely that Tottenham are going to get qualification for the Champions League. And reports were saying if Tottenham don't get any qualification for any European football, they'll have just £50 million to spend this summer under Jose Mourinho on that. But I think, Tottenham, a lot of Tottenham fans are demanding Jose Mourinho out anywhere. But, Tottenham have been in the Champions League at least for the last few years, haven't they? Because, I thought Pochettino did a really, really good job with them. Don't forget, last season, Tottenham got to their first ever Champions League final. Now, so we are actually, stepping up our interest in Kane. It did actually say recently that we're waiting for Kane to make the first move before we actually, step up our interest in the player. Now, obviously, Daniel Levy, the Tottenham chairman, he does really, really good transfer business, so I've got to give him a lot of credit for that. But, he is a very, very hard negotiator, is Daniel Levy, when it comes to, approaching any of Tottenham's players, because we've done business with Tottenham before, don't forget. We got, obviously, Dimitar Berbatov. Obviously, we got Michael Carrick. Carrick enjoyed around 12 or 13 years at Manchester United as a player. So, yeah, Daniel Levy is a really, really hard negotiator. But I do believe Kane does want to leave Tottenham. I think it also said that Manchester City had expressed their interest in the player. Also, too, it has been confirmed that Harry Kane is going to be fully fit when the Premier League does resume, because don't forget Harry Kane has been out with a hamstring injury, so I think he's been out for at least the last couple of months, Harry Kane, so that's positive news from a Tottenham perspective. But yeah, he is stepping up his fitness regime, because I think it did say the other week that Harry Kane had been back in training. Now, obviously, Harry Kane's also had quite a few loan spells. Don't forget he had a loan spell with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. So yeah, so he's due to be back when the Premier League does resume. And don't forget, it has been confirmed that the Premier League are scheduling a plan to resume games from the 1st of June, and they want all games completed in 6 weeks. They want all games completed in 6 weeks, and reportedly these games are going to be played behind closed doors and that. So yeah, definitely the season's going to resume, but as it stands at the moment, the Premier League and all English football is suspended until April the 30th and that. So yeah, I don't see Harry Kane coming to Manchester United and that. I'd love him to come, because I think, he would make the difference in the team, and also too, a lot of people would say would probably put a title challenge up if Harry Kane was to be recommended in. But from my own perception on this, I don't think it's going to happen. I just think it's very speculative. That's in my own opinion. People have different perceptions on it, don't get me wrong in that. But he is, a very, very good player, is Harry Kane, and he's definitely Tottenham's best player. And Tottenham without him would really, really struggle. So Tottenham are obviously now planning on getting an adequate replacement for him. But if Tottenham were to get 150 million, out of that 150 million, they could maybe recruit around 2 or 3 players in or something like that. So yeah, so that's the news on him. Now, we'll delve into the news on Jadon Sancho. Now, I have been keeping up to date with what's been going on with Jadon Sancho, haven't I, on a regular basis. Now, obviously, he is our #1 priority target for the summer. It has just been confirmed, by the way, that Jadon Sancho is the highest valued young player in the world. He's worth around £184 million, and that's double than his teammate Erling Haaland at Borussia Dortmund and that. And this actually came from a study from CIES saying that Jadon Sancho is the highest valued young player in the world. Now, I don't know if Jadon Sancho is going to come to Manchester United in the summer. Obviously, Jadon Sancho come out recently and he said, he wanted the transfer completed in July. But, due to this coronavirus, maybe quite a lot of teams' transfer business, could be affected in that. So maybe he could actually, end up staying at Borussia Dortmund, could Jadon Sancho. Now, Chelsea have come out and they said they're willing to pay the £120 million that, Borussia Dortmund are demanding. They want at least £100 million for Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, Liverpool have also been in for him, don't forget. It confirmed not too long ago that Jurgen Klopp had been in negotiations with Liverpool's owners FFG over the transfer for Jadon Sancho. But like I mentioned, I don't see how Jadon Sancho will get in Liverpool's team unless Liverpool would sell one of their attacking trio. But yeah, I think Jadon Sancho's first choice is at Manchester United. Of course, you've got Jadon Sancho, that's into his 3rd season at Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, he was dropped in a lot of games early on in the season, but in the past 2 seasons, he's been a revelation in Germany. And Borussia Dortmund are obviously, already looking for a replacement for him, and obviously, it's Jude Bellingham that's on their agenda to replace Jadon Sancho. Now, obviously, Borussia Dortmund will look at it from a financial point of view, and they'll basically go, look, we only paid £7 or £8 million in from Man City, so we're going to make around a £92-93 million profit if we're selling for £100 million, and if we're selling for £120 million, we'll make around a £112 or £113 million profit, because his valuation has persistently grown, reflecting on his good run of performances. And the beneficial thing is that Jadon Sancho's played in the Premier League, enjoyed 2 years at Man City, but never really got any first team opportunities at City, and this is the main explanation why I left Manchester City to join Borussia Dortmund and that. And before he was at City, he was at Watford. But the European expert came out the other week and he confirmed that Jadon Sancho will be in the Premier League next season, and I think it did actually confirm that Man United are willing to not only make him our most expensive signing, we're also willing to give him a contract worth around £200,000 a week. But Sancho would fit our transfer strategy perfectly because Solskjaer has revealed he still wants to recruit young players to Manchester United like he did do last summer. And there's a lot of young players in the squad as it stands at the moment. But Sancho is only at the age of 20, predominantly a right winger, but he can also play him centrally. So yeah, I think, we are emerged as the favourite to sign Sancho, but would definitely, dramatically improve us. He'd complement our attacking line, and don't forget he knows Rashford really, really well because they are both English in that. So yeah, so he's the highest valued youngster in the world is Jadon Sancho. That's been confirmed. So that's the latest news on him. But revert back to what I was saying about Harry Kane and that. £150 million is a hell of a lot of money. And there's also a few other strikers on Manchester United's agenda that we could, there's some strikers we could get cheaper than Harry Kane. Prime example, Timo Werner. He'll cost us 3 times less than Harry Kane. I think, Timo Werner's available for around £50 million. Manchester United have expressed their interest in him because his release clause is around £50 million. I think it's due to expire at the end of April, is Timo Werner's release clause. And like he updated you earlier on, well, it was on the video I did this morning, that I actually said that the RP Leipzig sporting directors come out and said there's uncertainty over Timo Werner's future. He could be denied a move to the Premier League due to this coronavirus and that. But it's Liverpool that have been relentlessly linked to him. And don't forget, he was talking a lot about Liverpool. And this is what he told Sky in Germany, that he was attracted to a move to Liverpool last month. He said Jurgen Klopp is one of the best managers in the world and that. But same thing with Timo Werner, with Jadon Sancho going to Liverpool. Timo Werner won't get his chances week in, week out unless Liverpool sold one of their attacking trio. Werner's been in very good form this season for Leipzig. He's got, 28, 29 goals in 30-odd games this season. He's got over 70-odd goals in the Bundesliga as the player. And he's a very, very good player, is Timo Werner. And also, taking into account he can play in more positions, can Timo Werner. So he probably would be a better solution than Harry Kane because he'd be a cheaper solution, wouldn't he? So put that into the equation. He's never played in the Premier League as Timo Werner. Obviously, he's now into his 4th season with Leipzig. Before he was at Leipzig, he was at Stuttgart. Actually became the youngest player to ever represent Stuttgart. So he's been another striker on Man United's agenda. Obviously, Aubameyang, he would be a lot cheaper than Harry Kane. Aubameyang is available for around £50 million. Obviously, Arsenal have come to accept the fact that he's not going to be signing a new deal and he's going to be leaving Arsenal in the summer transfer window. But it remains unknown where Aubameyang's, next club is going to be. Is he going to remain in the Premier League? Is he going to go to France and play with PSG? Is he going to go to Spain and play with Barcelona? Because obviously Barcelona have been relentlessly linked to him anywhere, so it's uncertain where we'll be playing his trade next. I do like Aubameyang a lot, to be quite honest with you. He's a very, very good player, and obviously, Arsenal paid around 56 million, was it, for him from Borussia Dortmund back in January 2018. But I've got to be honest with you, I think since his arrival at Arsenal, he's definitely done really, really well. He's made like 75 appearances in the Premier League and he's scored 49 goals as Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang, and I think he's got like 61 goals in all competitions. But from the way Arsenal looking at it is that, they'd want to cash in for him this summer rather than letting go on a free transfer in the summer of 2021, because that's when Aubameyang's current contract does expire. But yeah, he's well proven now in the Premier League. And Aubameyang, again, he can play in more than one position. He's predominantly a central striker, but you can also put Aubameyang out wide. Obviously, we've done business with Arsenal in the past. Like I mentioned, we got Sanchez from them back in January 2018 as part of a swap deal of Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal. We also, got Robin van Persie from them back in 2012. And obviously, reflecting on the amount of goals he scored for us, you can say he won us the league back in 2013 in Robin van Persie. So if we want to get Aubameyang, we'd have to hope he could emulate into the next Robin van Persie. And I was surprised we got Robin van Persie because at one point he was looking extremely unlikely that Manchester United, of course, were going to get him. But, Arsenal won't want to do business with us, obviously. But Aubameyang's going to be leaving, like I mentioned, Barcelona, PSG, Chelsea and Liverpool have even expressed their interest in Aubameyang. But he is a very, very good player. He was good during his time with Dortmund. He's played for St Etienne, Monaco, Lille and that. So he has been at a lot of clubs as Patrick-Emerick Aubameyang. And I think he's like, what, is he 30 years of age now? So yeah, he'd be a cheaper solution than Harry Kane. So say if we got, you know, Aubameyang and, you know, Werner, that would be £100 million for 2 strikers. You know, so that would be still £50 million less than, you know, Harry Kane, wouldn't it? So, yeah. But yeah, like I mentioned, there's a lot of strikers on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, we've had a lot of good news today. Well, it was actually, you know, coming out yesterday as well, should I say, on Odion Ighalo. Manchester United are looking to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent basis. You know, obviously, you know, I think we're actually, you know, going to be extending his loan until the 30th of June because Odion Ighalo's current loan spell with Manchester United ends on May the 31st, I think, and that. But, you know, I hope we can get him on a permanent basis, and I think it has been revealed it will cost Manchester United around £15 million to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent basis. But he's done really, really well. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Odion Ighalo has 4 goals in 3 starts for the club. 4 goals in 3 starts for the club, and he's provided a couple of assists. And like I mentioned, you know, Odion Ighalo, you know, he's totally comparison to the likes of Martial, Rashford, James and all of that, and our other attacking players. But he's an option of a different type of centre-forward, and I also do believe his hold-up play is very, very good, is Odion Ighalo. So, and you've got to say, he's confounded his critics definitely, because everyone was saying, you know, he was a panic buy by Manchester United. But, you know, if we do obviously, you know, get him permanently, that will be, you know, 5 signings that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have made, because obviously he's made 4 permanent signings at the moment. But yeah, looking likely, you know, we are going to get Odion Ighalo on a permanent transfer and that. So, very, very delighted about that. And even before Ighalo came to Man United, played in the Premier League because obviously he enjoyed 3 years with Watford. I think he's still under contract with Shanghai Shenhua until 2021. As it stands at the moment, Man United are paying like a third of Odion Ighalo's wages and that. But, you know, even if we do get him on a permanent basis, which is looking very imminent now, Manchester United still need at least another centre-forward. Definitely, because actually we need an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. I already given you the news, didn't I, regarding Lukaku last week? Because obviously, you know, he was talking a lot about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was actually, you know, backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Lukaku. And, you know, he actually, you know, says, you know, we're going in the right direction under Solskjaer. He believes we're making the right decisions, we're recruiting the right players in, etc, etc. This is what Lukaku had said. And Lukaku actually, you know, revealed that Solskjaer wanted to keep him at the football club. Don't forget, Lukaku enjoyed 2 years at Manchester United, and now he's actually, you know, doing really, really well at Inter Milan. So we do need an adequate replacement for him. But Solskjaer has identified the areas where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. He thinks we definitely need a centre-forward, we also need a right winger, and we also need a central midfielder. And I think he's looking to also bring a centre-half in. And Solskjaer believes that we need around 3 signings anyway to become title contenders. So, you know, Solskjaer's still got a lot to sort out, you know, in the summer. Definitely in that. So, yeah, so now we'll delve into news regarding Paul Pogba. I'm going to delve into that news now. So, I've just been reading the Daily Express, and they reportedly said now that Paul Pogba has made a decision now on a move to Real Madrid. He's made a decision on a move to Real Madrid. He now apparently doesn't want to make a move to Real Madrid, but reportedly Paul Pogba still wants to leave Manchester United. Now, reports were coming out yesterday saying that Paul Pogba is expected to stay at the football club for another year due to the coronavirus pandemic. And this was actually now stemming from Duncan Castles, who is a transfer expert, and he tends to be very, very close to Manchester United and that. But like I mentioned to you, if Paul Pogba does leave Manchester United, I think he'll go to Real Madrid or he'll make a return to Juventus, because Pogba did enjoy 4 good years in Turin. Could possibly go to PSG if not there, or maybe could go to Barcelona. But he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation, has Paul Pogba. Now, obviously, you know, narratives were totally comparison a couple of weeks ago, because obviously, you know, Paul Pogba was coming out saying that he was interested in staying at Man United, and he was interested, you know, in extending his contract at the club. the main explanation for all this is because he believes he can, form a partnership with Bruno Fernandes, because Pogba is aware of the impact that Bruno Fernandes has made. And, Solskjaer even gave his overarching view on it, and he said he's excited about, Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba, playing together. He's excited about the prospect of them both playing. Dimitar Berbatov gave his overarching view on that, and he actually, said that, Man United should keep Pogba. He said Man United should keep Paul Pogba, but he says, he doubts that Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba can be a partnership in our midfield. Now, obviously, yeah, so this is what he basically said, and, Solskjaer then reiterated it the other week after the 5-0 win against Last, and he actually, said then, did Solskjaer, that Paul Pogba will remain at Manchester United next season. But I just wish we'd get his future resolved, because since he rejoined the football club from Juventus back in 2016, he's just had a long-running transfer saga. Obviously, over the course of the weekend, that's just gone. Obviously, Ed Woodward had been back in negotiations with his agent Mini Raiola to obviously resolve his future and to stop Mini Raiola making public attacks against the club, because he's made a number of public attacks already against the football club as his agent Mini Raiola, and he has received a lot of criticism for this. But since the turn of the year, Mini Raiola has been talking a lot. Don't forget, he was criticising Gary Neville. He was also coming out saying that Paul Pogba is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's property. And he did say, he wants to take a great footballer to Real Madrid. This is what, his agent Mini Raiola had said. But at least in the last couple of years, Mini Raiola has been working on getting his client a transfer from Manchester United completed. A transfer away from Manchester United completed and that. But like I mentioned, this year, subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Last summer, subject to a lot of transfer speculation. Under the Jose Mourinho era, subject to a lot of transfer speculation. To be quite frankly honest, I think, if Mourinho would have still been here, all our top players probably would have gone, because, like I mentioned, he had bad disputes with the top players. I think Pogba would have been gone, Shaw and probably Martial would have been gone. But obviously, it confirmed we're willing to accept £100 million for Pogba this summer. That figure's totally comparison to last summer, because last summer we revealed that we wanted around £180 million. And that was a stumbling block of him making his move to Real Madrid, because Real Madrid were not willing to meet what we was demanding. So we have slashed around £80 million off his asking price, basically, in that. Obviously, don't forget, he has stepped up his fitness regime. When the season does resume, he will be playing with Paul Pogba, which is very good news. Last week, he had personal coaching with Michael Carrick. His appearances have been limited this season. Pogba's only played 8 times this season due to his injuries. Yes, he has. And if we got rid of him, we'd get a lot of money for his departure, plus it would free up our wage bill a lot, because Pogba, as it stands at the moment, is on around 290 grand a week at Manchester United. Probably more than likely will trigger that 1-year extension on his contract, even if he does, that's what we'll probably do, to be quite honest with you. So his future hasn't been fully resolved as yet as Paul Pogba. So that's the latest news on Paul Pogba, and that's the latest news on him. And obviously, there's lots to sort out in the summer. Like I mentioned, Manchester United need to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer. We also need to see more outgoings. I think Man United need to get rid of around 5 players in the summer transfer window. I think the 5 players we are planning to get rid of, I think Jesse Lingard definitely needs to go, because he's been a liability. I also think Andres Pereira needs to go, because he's also been a liability. They both can play in the number 10 and they both can play on the right. But, since, Bruno Fernandes' arrival, Lingard's found game time difficult, and he's lost the confidence of Solskjaer. Since McTominay's come back, Pereira's lost his place in the team. So I do believe they are 2 players that Manchester United need to get rid of. I think Phil Jones is another player that Manchester United need to get rid of. He's been a long-serving player at the football club. He's now into his 9th season at Manchester United. He's Phil Jones. He's enjoyed 8 years here. But, we've got obviously Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof that are our first choice centre-halves. You've got Bay and Tuanzebe that are our backup centre-halves. They've just come back from injury. And you've got Luke Shaw that can also operate as a centre-half. So Phil Jones is not going to get in the team. So he's one player we need to get rid of. The club made a mistake last season by giving Phil Jones a new long-term contract. I also do believe that De Gea, you know, could possibly go in the summer, like I mentioned earlier on today. Because I think, you know, Dean Henson deserves first team chances when he comes back from his loan spell with Sheffield United. He's expected to come back to Man United after his loan spell with Sheffield United. So I expect around 5 players to go. I think we'll negotiate on getting rid of Sanchez on a permanent transfer. You know, he's on loan at Inter Milan at the moment. Don't forget, Sanchez endured a difficult 18 months with Man United. We'll obviously, you know, consider getting rid of Marcus Rojo on a permanent transfer. He's on loan at Estudiantes at the moment. But obviously a lot of players have left anyway since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. Obviously, you know, some players have left on permanent transfers. Like I mentioned, Young, he went this year after he endured 8.5 years at Manchester United. He went to Inter Milan. You know, Valencia left at the end of last season after he endured 10 years at the club. Fellaini left in January 2019. He endured 6 years at the club. Herrera left last summer. He endured 5 years at the club. You know, Darmian, he endured around 4 years with the club. He went to Parma last summer. So, yeah, they're the players that went on permanent transfers. The players that were loaned out were, like I mentioned, Smalling, Rojo, Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, Dean Henson, he's out on loan. So, yeah, definitely no more players do need to leave in that. But like I've said, analysing it this season, you know, there hasn't only been problems with the management, you know. Obviously, a lot of United fans have had doubts about, you know, the club's ownership. They've also had, you know, they've been criticising Ed Woodward a lot. But don't forget, Ed Woodward and the Glazers are still determined to back Solskjaer in the summer transfer window. Because so far, Solskjaer has endured 3 transfer windows at Manchester United and he's spent around £220 million. So I've got to credit him for the signings he has recommended in because I think they've all been exceptional for us. You know, Manchester United have recruited around 30-odd players in since the Alex Ferguson era and also too spent a hell of a lot of money. You know, obviously, you know, Moyes, obviously, you know, brought Juan Mata in. He's still here now. Juan Mata's now into his 6th season at Manchester United. So he's been a long-serving player as Juan Mata for the club. He's lost that yard of pace. He's no longer first choice anymore. But I think he's still a good backup to Bruno Fernandes and he still can make an impact on Juan Mata. So I would be determined to keep him. Obviously, Fellaini's no longer here. So there was around £67 million spent under Moyes. Then under Van Gaal, you know, he brought players like Memphis Depay, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, Daley Blind, you know, and he brought quite a lot of other players in as well. Obviously, you know, there's still a couple of players here from the Louis Van Gaal era, but also Louis Van Gaal let a lot of players go. And then obviously, you know, under Jose Mourinho, we recruited around 11 players in. And the vast majority of these players are Jose Mourinho's that obviously, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is inheriting in that. So, yeah, we have spent like £1 billion nearly on recruiting players in. We've also got the highest wage bill in the Premier League, so take into account Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team and that. It still remains unknown whether he'll be Manchester United manager next season. If we get qualification for the Champions League, I can assure he will be given another season. And obviously, you know, it'd be good for us to, you know, get some silverware on the board because we haven't won out in terms of silverware yet under Solskjaer. Obviously, you know, we can win the Europa League, we're into the last 8. We can win the FA Cup, we're into the quarterfinals for the 6th season in a row. And as it stands at the moment, we're in the Champions League spot because we are sitting 5th in the Premier League. Obviously, you know, Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now for 15 months. So he has been here over a year. If Man United were to sack Solskjaer, I do believe our next manager probably would be Mauricio Pochettino. Because there has been a lot of talks this season about Pochettino replacing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the football club and that. And by the way, you know, we're in a good run of form at the moment. You know, we are unbeaten in our last 11 games in all competitions. And like I mentioned, that's our best vein of form since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. So he deserves a lot of credit recently because his approach to games have been good. He showed a lot of tactical flexibility. You know, a lot of aspects of our game in general have improved. You know, our football looks more expansive. We're creating more chances. We're scoring more goals. That's also, you know, very, very good to see. So he does deserve a lot of credit, does Solskjaer. But I would give him another season because it is a transition period. And like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful that we can get through this transition period. But he knows if he's given another season that he's got many expectations to exceed. you know, he's got many expectations to exceed in that. By the way, Solskjaer's also come out and revealed he had the chance, you know, to join Liverpool or Bayern Munich and some other clubs as well. But obviously, you know, he joined Manchester United instead in order to chase a legendary status and that. And obviously, you know, he joined Man United as a player in '96 and endured 11 years at Manchester United, scored 126 goals in 366 games in all competitions, did Solskjaer. Also came out and admitted he was mocked, you know, when Sir Alex Ferguson, you know, first signed him in the dressing room. So, yeah. And also some positive news is that our players have been recently, you know, training in self-isolation, because obviously now our Carrington training ground is shut due to obviously, you know, the coronavirus. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.